Alright everyone, welcome to another Dropping Bombs videos. My name is Corey Baumeister, and we are going to be playing, of course, some more Modern, because Modern is great right now. But this video is especially great because, well, I got a CG Con Dallas. I'm recording this on a Thursday. It's more than likely going to be up Friday or Saturday, so I'm either on my way to Dallas or I am actually playing in the tournament itself. And this is the deck I'm going to be bringing. So, a very different deck than I have been playing. You know, Grixis Death Shadow being my baby, my pride and joy, that I was really happy with how far I built the deck, as well as other great Shadow players as well, that really brought that deck to a spot where it was the best deck. I mean, really, right before it got banned, you know, there was 4 copies in the top 4 of a Modern PTQ. You know, I mean, we did it. We did it. We got that deck to the point where it needed to be, but there's a lot of things that went wrong. Number 1, ban the best card. Banning Kitty Cat. That was not helpful to the deck, I'll tell you that. It changed a lot of matchups, and it didn't seem like, right away, to me, it didn't seem like, okay, this didn't kill the deck. I can still make a version that plays more Croxas, you know, and I'll be able to still outgrind people with that. That was my early thought process. After doing it, and after Living End got its popularity, there became a lot of problems that Death Shadow was faced with. And it was all the ways that they were attacking that deck, as well as what you lost with Lurrus. What you lost with Lurrus was up against matches like this, Blue-White Control, normal Money Pile, where just every game you would have it. Every game Lurrus came into play. That's just how it was, because the games would go long, and every single time it gave you that additional 2 cards that they had to answer, and most of the time that was too much. So, with that happening, and the fact that we see a bunch of endurances now to deal with Living End, and a bunch of relics. I mean, even Bob the Dog, the great dog, aka Yellow Hat, was playing 4 relics in his Money Pile sideboard. Relic is low-key the best card against Grixis Death Shadow, because not only does it stop your Croxas, it shuts off Drown. So it's just not a good spot for Shadow, so I had to pick something else, and I'm not going to lie to you when I said it was not easy, you know, and I still don't have the utmost confidence compared to when I was playing Shadow. Now, that being said, this is the deck that I've been doing very well with, and I think it's a very strong choice for this weekend. I think avoiding the go-to deck, which is Money Pile, avoiding all the ways that deck attacks, which is a lot more instants and sorceries, and I think there's a lot of decks like Murktide that are playing a lot of Spell Pierces in anticipation for that style of deck. So, I think there's certain things that we're not falling into the traps of, although maybe we're a slightly less powerful version of the deck, but I think the hidden knowledge of how to play against this version, and just the way that we're attacking the metagame in a slightly different way, will give us an edge above Money Pile. And I didn't want to play Living End because I think that deck's going to have a rough weekend this weekend, because it has a huge target on its head, and we have plenty of answers for Living End as well. So I really think we're at a good spot in the metagame, and just looking at all these cards, all these pitch cards, all this removal, we slaughter aggro. That's just how it is. Yorin has already been very good at slaughtering aggressive decks, and I think with Eladamri's Call, we have the power to beat any deck post-board. So that's why I'm playing this. I think I have game against everything, and that's why I like Shadow in the first place. So let's get into it, okay? All right, so we are playing Elementals. This is just Elementals, you know, plain and simple. But we'll start with the mana base. Boseiju, we get to play 2 of those in Ren. I like just 2, you know, some lists go up to 4, but, you know, not the biggest fan of going up to 4 of that, even though, like, someone like Yellow Hat is doing that, and I respect him greatly. Rest of the mana base is pretty stock, you know, 1 of basically every fetch land, 2 forests, 1 of each of the other basics. I'm not playing snow-covered lands because you can't make me give up my cool lands. Yeah, I'm talking to you. You can't make me in the comment section. You can try, but I'm not doing it. I like my John Avon beautiful masterpieces of full art lands, and that's all there is to it. I'll take my percentage points for whatever scenario could come up that I need snow lands, which I still don't know what it is. So that you can tell me in the comment section. But then here's a big one. We get to play Cavernous Souls. So while we're not playing counter spells to like fight through our cards, we just get Caverns to fight through our elementals and gain an advantage like that over Money Pile, where they can't really play that land. So there's advantage number one we have in the Pseudo Mirror. Now we are an Ephemerate deck. Ephemerate is especially insane with the max amount of pitch creatures we have. We even have 2 endurances, as well as the full 8 over here. But also just completely obscene with Risen Reef and just good at protecting all of our stuff. For Lightning Bolts, I was kind of trying to get one of them out of the deck, but I figured it was still pretty important. But one of these was kind of on my watch list and still is. So before we get more into this is the deck list I am playing right now. I built a sideboard guide for a list, for this list, maybe 1 or 2 cards that are slightly changed. To be fully transparent, I've written half of it. I wanted to play some more games, make sure I liked some of the last minute changes I make, so that sideboard guide is as informed as it can be, instead of just, this is what I think I like. So that if the sideboard guide is a couple cards different, that's why, or you know why, because I was trying some stuff out and I decided after playing a couple more leagues, which I plan to do today, that I like something else. But that sideboard guide will be in my Patreon, so I have the link below for my Patreon. So if you're interested in this deck, maybe you're playing it in Dallas, maybe you're playing it next weekend or whatever, if you join in at the family level or higher, you will gain access to the Patreon for the full month. You'll get this deck list, as well as any other tournaments we're preparing for. For instance, the Arena opens next weekend. We'll be preparing for Historic there, and any events I play, but mainly, you'll get the sideboard guide for this deck right now if you join. So, back to it. Now we have 4 Abundant Growth, pretty much stock there, and then 4 Utopia Sprawl. This is where we differ. This deck is faster than Money Pile. So, it gives you speed for game 1 and speed for game 2 and 3. This card is great every single game unless they have Spreading Seas. Spreading Seas is a huge, huge problem, and the decks that are changing to be more Spreading Seas in their version of Money Pile, those are the versions that I'm a little afraid of, because you just have to take Utopia Sprawl out. Then you just have to be just as fast as them, and that's brutal. Sometimes I'll still leave it in on the play, because if you can go turn 1 Utopia Sprawl, turn 2 Risen Reef, and then they Spreading Seas your land, maybe it doesn't matter anymore, but maybe it still does. So Spreading Seas is the big scary card for me right now. Now we'll get to our 2-drops, and we have 8 really good ones. 4 red and 6. So probably the best card in Modern right now. I just think it's completely obscene. It's a card we're afraid of as well, because we have Risen Reefs, but just an incredible Magic card. No reason to not play 4. I think I'd play 8 if I could. 8, I'd get to cut some lands. Maybe 7, maybe 8's a little excessive, but yeah, the rules of Magic don't allow. And then we got 4 Eladamri's Call. Normally, I hate this kind of card. Hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it. And when I first started playing this deck, when I first picked it up, I was siding it out every time. I'm just like, this seems like the worst card in the deck. I don't get it. And, I started off, I was still winning. I started off with 4-1 with a league, with taking that card out in like every matchup. And then I started playing against some matchups like Tron, Amulet, stuff like this. And I was like, oh, this is just a tutor that tutors right into the card that wrecks them in certain matchups. So any match where you ask yourself, do I have a certain creature in my deck that completely hoses my opponent? If the answer is no, which it happens, Murktide, Money Pile, there's not really a hosing creature, but Living End, Tron, Rhinos, any of these mostly combo-ish decks that are doing something very big and explosive, but they're kind of fragile, that's when you want to max out on this card. So like against Tron, Eladamri's Call for Megas of the Moon, they don't have much creature removal, so you kind of get them. They do have Dismember, which can be a problem, but or Meddling Mage for Living End, a Knight of Autumn for artifact-based decks, Endurance for Living End, Fury for Hammer. Whenever there's something that there's one specific creature that you can think and you're like, oh yeah, that messes him up, then you'd leave in all 4, and that's kind of a game plan. Now, even really the only matches I want to take them out is when my opponent thinks to bring in maybe like Spell Pierce or something, or you just have to do something every step of the way, so you don't really have time to Eladamri's Call. that is kind of like Murktide and Money Pile. It's a card I'm fine to leave in, but I'm not like overly excited about it. But still, Eladamri's Call on 2 to get Risen Reef most of the time for 3. Or, you know, let's say it's turn 4, and it's about to be your turn 5, or you have 4 mana, you're about to have a 5th. Eladamri's Call for Omnath, play Omnath, get 5 mana, do something gross. Usually comes into play. Now this deck also gains so much card advantage that Eladamri's Call for a Fury or a Solitude is usually fine because you draw so many other cards that even if you're Eladamri's Call for a Solitude, you then Solitude pitch another card, you're technically down a card with this Eladamri's Call, but then let's say you have Risen Reef, then you're net even with stuff like that. So it searches for pitch creatures just as much as it searches for Risen Reef and Omnath, even though those are the main ones. So a lot to say about that card because it has a lot of application, and it's normally a card that I absolutely hate. So I figured it was worth spending some time on. For Teferi, this was the main thing that drove me to this deck because Cascade is really on the rise. I wanted to play for Teferi. And, you know, did I want to play a bunch of 4-color Money Pile mirrors exactly? Not really. So, you know, I decided this version, you know, for the reasons I've been stating. And here's Risen Reef. Risen Reef is kind of the reason to play this version. It's just incredible. There's a lot of popular play patterns where you go Risen Reef on turn 3, maybe put a land into play, maybe not. And then you pitch Fury or you pitch Solitude or you pitch for Endurance. And then you're only getting rid of 1 card. You're getting a Risen Reef trigger. And it's like if, you know, Solitude was just a free Swords to Plowshard at that point. And that power level is better than Legacy power level if you can combine those aspects. So that's really the call for this deck because that's a really popular thing to do. And let's say you go Risen Reef on 3 plus Solitude pitch and you have an Omnath in hand. Now you have 2 hits to hit a land to be able to go the following turn Omnath into fetch land, which is the devastating, you know, play from this deck. And, you know, that is turn 3 into turn 4, where turn 4 you could have Omnath plus a 5-drop. And that's already insane. But don't forget about Utopia Sprawl. You could speed all this up by a turn. You know, this could be turn 2 Risen Reef, turn 3 Omnath plus Fury. You think about that. Your nut draw is turn 3, you will have, you know, a bunch of lands, Risen Reef, Omnath, Solitude, or Fury in play, or even Risen Reef, Omnath, Teferi plus Ren, all in play, you know, on your 4th turn, on your 3rd turn. 3rd turn. That's the power level of this deck. Like, there's not many decks that have that kind of ridiculousness that you can do. And if you ever get those draws and you're playing any kind of fair matchup or aggressive matchup, anything that isn't a combo deck that can just, you know, Amulet kill you in the next turn, they're dead. They're dead. That's it. That's the reason to play the deck. So then we got 1 Eternal Witness. Felt kind of random to me until I, you know, either drew it or Eladamri's called for it to bring back a key sideboard card or to bring back a Yorion when I was trying to really gain advantage in a mirror match against 4-color Money Pile. You know, I just Eladamri's called, Witness, brought back Ephemerate, Ephemerated, brought back Yorion, played Yorion, you know, wiped the whole team. And then I got Witness back, got to bring back a Solitude pitched. I mean, it was just a complete absurd turn. But, you know, that's really what it's all about. And this lets you rebuy your things that have died already. 2 Endurances for Living End and all DRC / Ragavan matchups. Death Shadow, Murktide, and Living End it's great against. Those are big decks that I expect. Awful in the mirror, awful against combo. But I figured it was worth it. Mostly I added a 2nd to the main. 1 is perfectly great because you have Eladamri's Call. The 2nd one's usually unneeded. I wanted to free up a sideboard slot. Was the main reason I put 1 into the main, an extra 1. And it's been good. 4 Omnath, incredible. And then 4 Solitude, 4 Fury. Great pitch elementals. You know, this elemental package is what makes the deck. And then we have 4 Prismatic Ending. That's just a very versatile removal spell. Now let's talk about the sideboard. We got 2 Dispute. I wanted a counter spell, and I wasn't really liking Force because, well, we don't have that many blue cards. So Force and Negation ended up being pretty awkward for me. So ended up cutting them. There are matches where I'm going to regret that, and there are matches where I'm going to deeply love that. But mainly, I want this for Money Pile, Murktide, which I expect a lot of, and then it's still fine against any other blue deck. Aether Gust is a card I wasn't sure about, but I saw Batatinha play it in his elemental sideboard, and it started to make sense the more I thought about it. I wanted something that could help with Blood Moon, can bounce some rhinos, all around, and is helpful against Titan. This is mainly a Titan card, which I think is very valuable, so going with 2 of those. It's not my favorite card right now, so that is a card that's kind of on a watch list as well, but I don't really know what else I want. Magus of the Moon for Amulet, Tron, any kind of big mana. Haven't played against them yet in my 4 leagues or whatever, but that's what it's for. A couple Veils for Death Shadow, or, a variety of counterspell decks it's still good against. One last Endurance for Death Shadow, Murktide, Living End, Dredge. Force of Vigor for Urza Saga decks mostly. Meddling Mage for Cascade decks, especially Living End. Ends up being pretty strong. Knight of Autumn for artifacts. Emrakul for mirror matches, pretty much specifically, and grindy decks. Relic for Death Shadow, Dredge, Living End. And then Engineered Explosives is good against Rhinos, Hammer, and that's about it. I had this as another Force of Vigor at the time, but I figure it was kind of good enough against them, except it was an extra card I needed when I was making my sideboard guide for Rhinos. And this is a sideboard guide after the big matchups. I made sure everything fit perfectly. So, check out that Patreon if you want a really well-fitting, very well thought out sideboard guide, if that's what you're into. So, all right, let's play some matches. Let's show you what's up with this deck. All right, let's start it up. Round number 1 here. On the draw, not an amazing hand. Very clunky on the draw. We do have a way to cycle with the Triumph, but I like to mulligan a lot more aggressively on the draw with this deck. So we're going to ship this one. Yeah, for hands like this hand's great. So we're going to keep, let's just get rid of this basic. And yeah, let's go. Turn 2 Teferi or get Ren going. Either or are very good options. We'll see which one's better. See which one we have the option for. All right, so can't be too afraid of Spreading Seas or anything from a start like this. Probably Jun Shadow or something. So our Utopia Sprawl on turn 1 seems completely fine. All right. Now we could just Utopia Sprawl with this Stomping Ground, which is fine. And name blue? No, we do want to name one of the other colors for Ren, I suppose. Doesn't matter that much, but yeah, we'll go green, red. So this is, yeah, green, red. And then next turn we can go Ren plus fetch land. Or if they Thoughtseize away that as well, we can always buy Yorion or cycle a Triumph. All right, this is that mono black deck. Should be a decent match for us, especially if we can find more Teferis. Okay, that is the worst draw that we wanted to see. So now we'll just get this for the other Triumph. And now our mana problems are over. But now we just got to top deck some action. We do have the Triumph Ren combo that we're going to get going, which is good, given enough time. But this deck does go ham pretty fast. There's a map. Okay, now they go get an Urborg. Yeah, without drawing anything, I still think I kind of want to just cycle and get that back. Maybe we get an Abundant Growth or anything. Okay, a little late, but not the worst. All right, then we'll go like this, and we'll say go. One turn too late. Okay, that's a lot of mana, and that's a Golos. All right. It's definitely troublesome. Now we can bank up these fetch lands, use them as swamps for a while. But we do want to sack at least one of them, I guess, to bring back with Ren anyways. So, yeah, let's do that. Doesn't matter too much what we get at this point. All right, good draw, please. That is a good draw, actually. Was one of the cards I was hoping to get. And just Solitude this so they can't start going ham with that. Yeah, bouncing it is not really ideal, so let's do this. We'll just play this as a swamp for now. And we'll get this out of there. Hopefully they don't have anything else to do with their mana. All right. Looks like they have stuff to do with their mana. We're dead. Okay, Karn's pretty good. That's a Bolas' Citadel. Let's see how ham they're gonna go. Well, we do have Ephemerate to deal with that at least. Fetch to shuffle. Okay. Eladamri's Call. Is that too late? We're in game one. So we can get a value creature. We can get Risen Reef and then Solitude this. But I really think we kind of have to bounce this and hope for something else. But I don't know what we're really hoping for here. Can definitely Solitude kill this, attack Karn, and then they're just left with finding stuff off the top and maybe they brick. But Karn will give it to him regardless, so I think I have to deal with that. And Golos gives it to him regardless too. So these are the two things that have to leave. So, that being the case, I think I do have to Teferi. White, blue... colorless. Yeah, I guess just bouncing this doesn't deal with it though. But I do have Ephemerate. Yeah, so I do feel like I need to exile it. I can Teferi. Okay. Alright, I think I know what I have to do. It's not ideal. But I can go green, white, blue, white. I'll leave green. I will bounce this. Fury. Actually, yeah, that's kind of better. Okay, not bad, not bad. So we'll fetch this. We need white mana. And I can go like this. Can pitch Fury. 4 here. Ephemerate it. Now I can go 1 here, 3 here, deal with all of those. Bang, bang. That's fine. Tick up. Get this. Fetch this. Get a plains. Cast Eladamri's Call for something. We don't know our next problem that we have to deal with, but we got nothing to really deal with the land right now, which is a problem. So, more than likely just Omnath here to get that going. We already ticked this up. Now we get to hit them for 3. Hope their Bolas's Citadel doesn't have enough life to play with. And hope we're good enough. That was still a good turn. Don't get me wrong. We found a decent line, but it might all be in vain. Because they're going to go ham. Now they have Field of Ruin, so we have to worry about our Utopia Sprawls for next game. We got to put them on basics. Got them. That was off the top. So clearly they don't have anything too insane in their hand. Oh yeah, you can just cast that off the top, can't you? That's insane. Well, we're probably dead then. Alrighty. Damnation. It's pretty good, but not completely backbreaking. That's pretty backbreaking. Okay. Looks like we're going to be one short of being able to like go Omnath, Eladamri's Call plus... Okay. Well, I guess we can't Eladamri's now anyways. So we just got to find something good off of our Omnath, and then maybe we have a chance. Endurance is not something good. Tick this up. Let's play Omnath. Our only choice to start. Green, red, Nathington. Now we get 5 mana. Gristlebrand's gonna connect, and there's nothing we can do about it. Alright, we're dead. Next game. This deck always feels like such a meme, but sometimes it does decent. You know, I think we should have a decent matchup up against it, but we'll see. I'm gonna bring in that Magus. Yeah, I'll bring in Knight to deal with that problem card. And that's kind of it. Yeah, we don't have a ton for this matchup, but we shouldn't need a lot. Lightning Bolt seems like the worst card. Endurance is also not very strong. Could bring in more Force. Could even bring in Dispute. It's not an ideal counterspell here, but it's not bad. Yeah, I kind of like that, actually. Prismatic Ending is still fine. Lightning Bolt is just okay, so we'll get rid of some of those. And we'll say go. Utopia Sprawl, we really want to put on a basic forest now. That's the one thing we need to keep in mind. Okay, there it is. And yep, it's a keeper. We will go basic forest and name blue. And then we hope they don't take our Wren, but that's okay. We haven't seen a Risen Reef early on yet, and that's a very important thing. Our Utopia Sprawl here on blue, and we'll say go. Yeah, I suppose we probably should have brought in Veil now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, definitely should have brought that in. That was bad. Okay, that was a good draw. So we can Eladamri's Call for either Omnath or Risen Reef. Or honestly, Magus. We could just Magus them right now, but they do have basic swamps. So we'll probably want to do one of our value creatures. And Omnath screams out to me as a good one. Is this another Thoughtseize? Cling. Okay. Yeah, usually it's Risen Reef, but if we're at a low resource game and they don't have great answers for Omnath, then it could easily just be the Nathington, which I think we will start with. Magus doesn't seem like it does enough right now. Yeah. Omnath. All right, we don't want to show them what we drew, so we'll go like this. There's Nathington. And another good draw there. Now we're a fetch land away from completely popping off. Oh, God. That's not what we wanted to see. Yeah, definitely should have brought in Veil. That was stupid of us, y'all. I like that I say us, to put us all in one group, you know? It's only fair. Like, y'all had control over it. Thanks for taking one for the team, y'all. Alright, let's Fury. Get rid of that. Bang. That card's dead. Now we still got a great hand. But everything's better with Omnath. Risen Reef would have been kind of the same. They still both replace us for one card. Maybe would have ramped us if we had a land on top. But Omnath was still a better choice. Now we got a big hitter here with Fury. Okay. Interesting. Well, we'll start with this. They don't have much for that, it looks. I'm guessing they're going to Golos us next. So I think I still want to draw a card, even though we don't have a good answer for Golos. Maybe not, then. Yeah, we kind of have our play this turn, which it's nothing impressive, but purchase Yorion. And we'll say go. Purchased. Now we get the Teferi train with Yorion going. This is another huge factor in these mid-range battles, is there's just Yorion loops, you know, and Yorion loops are completely obscene. That was not nice. Okay. No abundant growth to bounce unless we draw it, of course, so this will just be for nothing. You could bounce Utopia Sprawl, but it doesn't actually do anything. Witness. Okay. I don't think we want that yet. I still think Yorion is still the play. So then we get to reset Teferi every single turn and keep that card advantage going. And eventually, most players kind of don't realize that you can just do this every turn. It's much better with Omnath, so sometimes we won't want to do it, but people will eventually realize, like, oh crap, I have to break this up, or they will win the game. And usually it comes with a... Uh-oh. Alright, it's Magus time now, I guess. That only adds 1 mana at the moment. And if this is like Bridge or something, we don't really care. We deal with those. Sundering Titan. So they only have 6 mana, so they won't be able to Titan us next turn. So I can attack down one of these. I for sure want to keep Magus. God, do I just get rid of Witness? That kind of sucks. feel like that seems wrong. So I'm going to get rid of Solitude? Yeah, all right. Map. Now we have to kill Liliana, it looks like. Maybe we have to Prismatic Ending Liliana and then kill Karn. That could be good too. Also strong. So Magus ending, shutting off their lands, killing their thing, and then not activating Teferi seems decent to me. Just tick this up. And then next turn we can flicker. All right, so 1, 2, 3. Now we'll have green, blue, white, red mana still, so we'll still have all our mana. Doink, doink, doink. Here's that. Already ticked that up. Kill Carnarito. And we'll play Magus. Hope it holds. You're now a Rakdos deck. Congratulations. So they won't be able to tighten us yet. Yeah, I don't think that works. Unless they have a removal spell for Magus. Golos, okay. Okay. Still don't produce mana. So we don't care if we bounce this to be... Oh, that was a good draw. That was a good draw. Now we can counter Sundering Titan next turn. So let's bounce that. Now we cannot actually cast a lot of spells now because of our own Magus. But that's okay. We have 6 twice here, so it should just be GG. That's why Magus of the Moon sometimes is just a tilt. You know, it does hurt us as well. But the goal is that it completely cripples them, which it is doing. I was like, I'm glad they went for that. Boink. Dispute. GG. It's a tough game. Tough game. I figured these games would be a little easier, but not the case. Not the case. Okay, let's bring in Veil of Summer. That was stupid of us. Still saying us. I'm grouping y'all in. Golos isn't dealt with by Lightning Bolt, so I think we're going to get rid of that. I like it. Can still be a tricky matchup, but we're going to try our best. Well, we haven't kept an opening hand yet. That's pretty brutal. Against the Thoughtseize deck. Maybe we kept the last one. I'm tilting. Just kidding. Alright, this one is fine. Our opponent mulliganed as well, so all is even. All is fair. I am going to keep. And now, what do I want to put back? Probably just this mountain. Yeah. Okay. Abundant Growth is a nice one to start with. Most of the time, the Sprawl is better, but there are times when it's not. All right. Prismatic Ending would be nice. Boink. Okay. That leads me to not want to Boseiju right away because we can get the Boseiju Ren thing going. So let's get green, white, and growth it. Okay, there's that. We'll say go. Now we got Ren or Boseiju next turn. Almost assuredly Ren. Depending on what they do. Probably nothing, so to sack their map. Okay, they did the command. Okay, sweet, 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 sweet. Let this happen. Let this happen. Our Teferi next turn could counter it. Green, red, Ren. Tick up. That's how you just wreck this game. If you counter with the static ability of Teferi, GG. But if they have a Thoughtseize, it's smart of them to wait till turn 3 to Thoughtseize, then map, and then command. So that could be brutal for us. Sack for Urborg. Dang it. Don't do it. Yes! Yes, that's huge. Okay. Sack this for a basic. Teferi. Now we'll tick, for sure tick this up. Now if I tick down on growth, I would have to discard. So we'll tick up, but remember Teferi growth is a combo. A combination, if you will. Alright, Karn is still brutal here though. Like, Karn is still an annoying magic card. But Yukabog isn't. Sweet. Okay. So I think we can start by bouncing this. See what we draw. Our hand is obviously awful right now. Yep. Okay, I think we'll be doing some reefing. Get that going. Eladamri's Call. We'll get a basic forest. Growth on the forest. We'll bring this back and we'll have to discard a few cards, but that's okay. 1, 2, all right. Now our hand still doesn't look great, but depending on what they have, oh god. Okay, well, I think we're gonna have to start Besejuing them. So now they have 5, 6 mana, right? Took the second reef. 6 mana. Ugin. Okay. That's pretty good. So, yeah, that's pretty strong. You can destroy any permanent that has 1 or more colors. Fury could have been a sick one. Oh, it definitely was. We're giving them another Cabal Coffers turn if we Fury. Or Eladamri's Call for a red card. Eladamri's Call for a Fury. And then I could Beseju Cabal Coffers. And we're slightly out of gas, but we don't need gas right now, to be honest. So I kind of like that. White, green. Eladamri's Call for red card, Fury, ping. We get a trigger, and then Beseju this, return Beseju. Alright. We can also get Omnath, can also get Magus. I guess Omnath isn't bad, because I would rather draw more Furies. Nah, let's just get rid of Fury. Alright. Exile. 4 upstairs. Get a trigger. That's to our hand. Evoke. Yeah, I guess I can't get back Boseiju, but that's okay. I will then Boseiju this. Flooded Strand, and then we'll say go. We'll leave this Flooded Strand unpopped in case we get Omnath. And let's hope they don't have another Cabal Coffers into something gross. Just a Golos, which will then get it, but yeah, that's okay. They might Bajuka Bog me, but I do have the other Boseiju. Yep. And we can Solitude this. Sure. I think I'd rather bounce with Teferi. Omnath? That was good. Alright, well. You always start with the Nath. It's about time we drew one of these cards. Start with Omnathington. Now it combos with the Risen Reap. Now we're going to see the power of these two combined. Okay, they're dead. Alright, they're dead. Here's one land. I want a basic plains. So let's sack this. Here's a basic plains. Now, if I want to Boseiju as well, I will have to exile. Which I think is fine. All right, I'll exile this. Always put the Evoke to the back. Get rid of Golos. Risen Reef trigger. Take that. And I think I maybe want to Ephemerate here. It does give him this card. Yeah, all right. Okay, this to hand. Get rid of that. That goes back to their hand, unfortunately. Then I can Boseiju this. Boseiju. Yeah, it only costs one now because we have a legend. And I can... can Boseiju again if I wanted, but I don't think I need to. So instead, let's purchase Yorion. Tick this up. Tick this up on a Boseiju. And here is to deal them 4 damage. I don't think it's actually necessary. I'd rather not. I think I'd rather gain life than deal them 4. So yeah, we'll attack for 1. And here, you know, these are the turns that you play the deck for. That was obscene. You know, that was completely obscene. And now we have a Veil to help us out a little bit. Yeah, and we're just going to deal with this over and over, you know. Keep getting your Cabal coffers. I'll keep burying your coffers. This is a sweet round. This is a sweet one. Okay, gets castle. Okay. Here is Ephemerate. What a powerful 1-drop. All right, now we re-blink, re-kill Golos, re-get another trigger. Yeah, we'll put that one into play. Gain 4. And now it's where it gets completely bonkers because Yorion gets involved. So let's start by attacking. Boink, boink. Here they go. All right. Gain 4. Or yeah, that's the triggered one. Now, we do want to activate this. So yeah, sure. Because it's going to get reset. All right, we'll tick up on another Boseiju. These are the turns of our lives. Okay. Boink. Boink. Yorion. All right. Blink out first. And exile them all. Minus the Ren. Here's those. Now, I already played a land. We're definitely going to be discarding, I'll tell you that. We can put this here. Here's all our triggers. This is usually where people concede, but none to those. All right, into play. Okay. Into play. No. That adds mana. Yeah, it restarts, remember. Okay, now we have all this mana. We're going to start with Boseiju this. Boseiju this. Cycle this. Sacrifice this. Sure. Deal 4. And I guess that's it for now. That's all we can do. Bummer. All right. That was a turn. It's a lot easier to play in paper too. You know, as long as you get the things down. What is this? Is this Gristle? That would not be great. What is this? Gristlebrand's 8, right? I ask like you're going to answer me as a YouTube watcher. Oh, March than that? Oh, okay. I'll veil that. Scoop it up. Scoop it up. All right. Yeah, we'll say go. And now the turn happens again. You know, we just get to bounce Yorion or ephemerate Yorion. And as long as we don't time out, we got him. All right, let's see how much damage that is. As long as we're within 4, they're dead. Okay, perfect. Now we don't have to do anything but fetch some lands. Getria Triome. Boink. Fetch this. And you're dead. Bang. Ta-da. All right. This is what this deck's all about. Let's play another one. All right, let's do it again. All right, I'd love to be on the play. Up against a 60-card deck. And yeah, turn 2 Teferi. We can get ourselves a nice little duel and add the other color that we don't have. Definitely going to keep. And then, you know, into Omnath shortly after. The problem is it's pretty hard to do Endurance as well. You know, to set that up, like, what are we going to do here? So green, blue, Breeding Pool, and then Utopia Sprawl on red is what I'm initially leaning on. It's got to be either green, blue, or white, green. I mean, I guess that's not true. It can be green, red, and be on blue. It just doesn't matter that much, regardless. So we have white. Yeah, it should be some combination of teamer colors because we have the planes. So Breeding Pool red or Stomping Ground blue. Doesn't really matter. You know, as I play this deck more and get it down, I'm sure 10 leagues from now, I'm going to be like, no, it's for sure this. But as I'm seeing, it doesn't matter that much. Then we'll go with red. Then we can cast Ren in case we drew it and Teferi gets Thought Seized or something like that. Let's see what we're up against. Opponent has mulliganed. Okay. Yeah, I think turn 2 Teferi. It's pretty hard to pass up. And I'm just going to tick up. We know our next turn more than likely is just going to be an nom 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 nom. And they can't prismatic ending it, so it's pretty safe. If they had 2 mana, let's say they went first, then there was a solid chance that we'd tick down so we don't get endinged. We don't know what we're up against yet, but okay. And like now this is perfect. See, now we ticked up so we can bounce and still play Omnath. Get that back there. And we'll do this on elementals. And these are some of the games that just look like it's not fair. You know, like it doesn't look like we're playing the same Magic. But there are games when it looks clunky and things don't go great, you know? So like there's definitely a give and take to the deck, but I mean like look at this, you know, this is nice. Utopia Sprawl into Teferi, into Omnath, turn 3. Turn 4 is going to be completely bananas if they don't kill Omnath. Complete bananas. So 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, we can just Yorion. You can just Yorion next turn. Fetch lands always count for 5 mana with Omnath in play. And then, you know, the 3 mana. So turn 4, Yorion from the Companion Zone. No big deal. Reset Teferi. Draw an extra card. Okay. That does kind of scare me. That seems like a combo deck. So we probably won't do that. And we'll probably just make sure we don't die. So we can tick up. And we can definitely attack. Yeah, let's start with that. This could be like some kind of Heliod company. We can also just start with a... Oh yeah, we actually have 1 extra mana, right? We have 9 mana. So we... Oh, actually, that changes things. Because we can Yorion and Bolt now. With Solitude backup. Okay, that's fine then. Now, what do I want to bolt to start? Because I do have to bolt right away unless I leave this open. Which I can do. So, okay, let's go like this. We want to leave red mana open and ideally red-white. So, we're going to go get Sacred Foundry. And that's going to be the mana we'll leave for next turn. Now, let's go like this. Put Yorion to hand. 4, 5. Here comes the bird. And if we left a forest, we could have Utopia Sprawled as well. Like, if we got green-white, then we could have put it on red. So maybe that was better, actually. See, there's little things like that. It's like, okay, our turn was already insane, but it could have been slightly better. So, now that we have Teferi, we do not have to bolt now, because we don't have to be afraid of, like, Collected Company in response. We get to see what they do first, and then go. So, no reason to pull the trigger right now. There was some reason to bolt the Noble Hierarch if we don't think they had a land for Collected Company. But that's okay. Okay, now there is a reason to maybe do something like bolt right away. Because if they get into Heliod plus something, it could be bad. Alright, let's do this now. I don't think we can die now, even if they get Heliod and, I don't know, some other... Like, isn't Ballista banned? Like, I don't know what the hell they're playing. Maybe they're just playing green-white Value Town. Okay, pretty good, pretty good. You think we're going to win this game, chat? Leave it in the comments if you think we are or indeed going to not win this game. Okay, this seems fair. I mean, it just doesn't matter, right? Okay, so let's start with this. Abundant Growth here. Now, add red. Bounce Abundant Growth. Didn't hit the land to go completely obscene, so I guess we have to settle for just a Fury. Dang it. Just a Fury, 2 and 2. With a Solitude backup. And just a gentle attack for 8. God, these Omnath turns are just so bad when you don't have a fetch land. We're screwed now. And now if you think if we get Risen Reef too, you know, you just have double elemental. It's just going ham. So there's a green-white tokens deck, I guess. I mean, this should, if it is no combo, this should be exactly what we destroy. Like, if you expect to play against these kind of just fair aggressive decks, which it looked like the metagame was going to steer towards that direction after the Luris ban. And if that's the case, we just demolish those style of decks. Like, and you're not going to see us change much, if anything. Like, Endurance is the only card I don't like. So we want to find space for that. And, like, EE is fine. And, like, Gust, I guess, is pretty good. So we could do that and get rid of, like, 1 Witness or 1 Eladamri's Call. But even Eladamri's Call, I think, is better than Witness at this. So, yeah, let's go like this. And just try to kill everything. Okay. Not amazing, but this could be, at some point, the double Solitude. You know, we have the turn 1 Ephemerate Solitude pitching to Fairy plan. Not something you do that early on. All right, let's see what they got. Okay, now we do. That was perfect. Get the basic forest, because now it is all of the lands. And we'll say go. No good 2-drop, though, so hoping to draw Ren or Eladamri's Call. Or even Utopia Sprawl would be pretty good. Okay. No big deal. We're going to set up for a Solitude Ephemerate plan. That takes 3 creatures of theirs to kill. Now we can play the Triome or actually just keep it to cycle if we flood. And I think I like that better. I think I'm just going to put this into play tapped. Conserve damage as much as possible. Now if they don't do anything crazy, we just have Teferi next turn. They could have like Spell Queller or something that would be bad-ish. Okay, this is definitely Heliod. Okay. Like, I don't mind just Teferi bounce, and then Teferi just dies. I don't think I want to Ephemerate now. I mean, like, actually, you know, doing it now during this turn, and then I get to Solitude again during my draw step is not the worst. Could also just still wait, or I could play Teferi. I don't love any of those options, to be honest. Kind of want to just play a land and say go. Really tough. Really tough. Because I'd like to not die if I could help it. That'd be cool. I'd also like to have some gas in the tank. We have Yorion, so there's already gas in the tank. You know, that's not something we have to truly worry about. Slightly worried about some kind of interaction. You know, mostly we don't know what we're playing against. This is Modern's Wild Wild West. We know it's a combo Heliod thing, but we don't know if they're playing blue counter spells. So we're trying to play around everything here. The safest play seems like to just Solitude plus Ephemerate it. And then they can't really play stuff next turn. But then if they just go Collected Company on me, it seems kind of bad for me. So I'm tempted to just bounce Spike Feeder with Teferi and see what they do. All right, YOLO. We've been thinking enough. Teferi. Now they can remove, gain some life, but we don't really care. They can remove them all and stop us from drawing a card, and we also don't care about that. And now, in case they try to combo, we still have Solitude. Okay, there's a Reef. Reef is a good one. Now we only have one Solitude activation, but, you know, if we have to do it, we have to do it. Probably gonna kill Teferi. Yep. Ranger, Captain of Eos. That's fine with me. The Noblest of the Hierarchs. Sure. Now, hopefully we can draw a white card so we can do a lot of the things. We could buy Yorion, and that could be our white card. And then we could Solitude 2 things. And then we'd have a Ephemerate trigger on the stack. We'd get rid of Ranger Captain plus Mentor. And then we'd have Risen Reef. To go from there, just any white card's insane. So we could also Risen Reef and try to get lucky and hit a white card. But if we break, then it's a lot more awkward of a scenario. I also don't want to get rid of Yorion, you know, so... I'm going to try to Risen Reef here. We might regret this, but... Okay. Okay, so now we can just say go, and all we have available is a Solitude. We'll get another trigger. Maybe we hit an Ephemerate or something, but basically we're at the mercy of them trying to combo us. But if we can untap, we can wreck them. So we just got to make it through this turn. Don't care about that. Close game. I mean, maybe close. Their hand might just be bad and we're miles ahead, essentially, but... They didn't attack with Mentor, so they're scared. Because that's leaving a point of damage on the table. Teferi. That's pretty good. Yeah, I think we have to be okay with that. It's really good, actually. Yep. Bounce my Reef, okay. Now it's just going to be a Fury turn next turn, more than likely. Yep. So we can go 1, 2, 1, which will be excellent. All right, so here's a Triome. Let's get that Jeskai Triome. All right. right. We already have our white mana, so let's get our blue. Oh, wait. I guess we did just top deck Omnath. I didn't even see what we drew, but Omnath was insane. Okay. I was like, no matter what, we're Furying, but don't get tunnel vision because now we can also Fury. All right, here's Omnath. Okay, here's this. Add mana. Add more mana. Here's Fury. And we have 1 for you, 1 for you, 2 for you. There's that. And now we have Solitude pitching ending. If things get dicey. Yeah, the blue could just be Fort Teferi. That makes sense. Now, once again, if we untap next turn, then the game should be over. But I think I said that last turn. And they keep doing stuff that puts us a little further back. So we're just doing good plays that get us back into a good position. And if given one more turn, we will just wreck them. But that is a scenario where I don't think we can allow them to just go Heliod, gain life, and go infinite. So infinite life at least. I don't want to try to beat infinite life, even though we probably can. So yeah, let's Solitude. And get that out of there. Now they have no combo pieces in play. So, you know, unless they go land company into Spike Feeder plus Heliod, we just don't care. What is going on here? Oh, they're putting counters onto that. Yeah, sure. You got it. You got it. And remember, everyone, if you like what you see for this deck list and you really want a sideboard guide and you want to pick it up yourself, I got one in my Patreon below. And if you want to watch me play, I'm going to attempt to do a backpack stream in Dallas. So go to my Twitch channel as well, and you should be able to see me play the event. And hopefully we do well, you know? Hopefully we do well. All right, so I could block here. But I don't think I care, so I won't. All right. Now we're going to start by Furying or attack Teferi. Okay. Now if we have the luxury, we'd want a Risen Reef first. It doesn't look like we do. So white, red, blue, green. Nathington. Boink. Fetch land, our last fetch land. So we'll go like this. Now we'll fetch. We're going to get 4 mana. We're going to Risen Reef plus Ephemerate. And then we want to have some mana open, but we don't really care what it is. So we'll just get this. Here's Risen Reef. Okay. Yep. And now we could just play another Risen Reef, or we can Ephemerate Fury. Let's deal 4 to this. So this deals damage, but that's fine. Take that. Your opponent can't cast non-creature spells. Wasn't planning on it. All right, and that's all we got with another Ephemerate on Fury on tap for whatever they play. So we kind of got ourselves insulated once again. They got those canopies that they can start sacking, though, so they're not completely out of gas, even though it's looking rough for them, I won't lie. Okay, well, do we want to do anything now? Not really. All right. I mean, I guess if you have that into Collected Company, you got me. Okay. Now we got F6. Oh, that'd be a shitty way to lose. Doesn't look like it so far. That will counter our ephemerate. No. This time we can start with... No, we can't. We once again have to start with Nath. Here's Nath. Check the Risen Reef first. Nath to hand. Draw a card. Here's another fetch land for fun. Gain some life. We'll go get our other basic. Here's that. Bang. We'll play Risen Reef minus the planes. Get 2 more triggers. Sure. Yep, there goes the Planeswalker. There's the 4 damage. Now, Fury to hand. Can't quite cast that one, but we can go Ella Domri's Call and get a Solitude just in case. And now we get to attack. Bang, bang. Now, if they do anything, we have Ephemerate. Wow, they had Collected Company and they didn't go for it when it was protected? Okay, well, sure. Now we have Double Solitude, which gets 4 Risen Reef triggers. You got a birds. You got some birds. That's unfortunate for them. But funny for us, at least. We got that going on. All right, now we do want to Stranglehold their mana, and for the low price of 1 mana, we can do that. Bang. Here's an Ephemerate. 1, a 2, a 3. You done yet? Okay, I think they're done. They're done. All right, that is about all the time we have for this video. These were a bit long games, and I like to keep them at an hour. But I hope you like what I'm going to play in Dallas. I can't say I'm the most confident I've ever been going into a tournament, but I'm feeling pretty good. I understand the lines pretty well, and the deck is also just a complete delight to play. So I think I'm going to enjoy it. And if you want to enjoy it as well, you can use Mana Trader's link below. Get yourself 15% off with promo code CoreyB. If you want to try this deck, and then if you want a sideboard guide for it, head into that Patreon and level up your game. All right, like, share, comment, all that stuff. And thank you so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.